12 o'clock straight up, and we will call this meeting to order of the Williamson County Emergency Service District number 3. I will let y'all know we do have a new commissioner, Mr. Henry Gideon. He'll be joining us, I believe, in January. So, Henry, for those that don't know Henry, he's fantastic. He recently retired from the school district as the assistant superintendent of operations. Super guy, very smart in a lot of ways. So he'll be a great addition. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he kind of oversaw that for ESD. So anyway, yeah, we're excited to have Henry join us in January. Any public comment, Chief? Okay, we are going to go a little out of order. Going to skip straight to our first regular agenda item. That's item 1, discuss, consider, take appropriate action on the presentation and adoption of the 23-24 fiscal year audit, and authorize a copy be sent to the Precinct 4 Commissioner's Office for filing with Williamson County. Mr. Allman.
Yes, it'll work best to be here. Anyway, good afternoon. I'm Don Allman, CPA. And would like to thank the board of directors for having my firm do the audit for Williamson County ESD number 3. Very appreciate the business. Always enjoy working with ESD 3. And of course, I need to thank Mary Ann and Chief Kerwood. They always do a great job getting us all the information that we need to do the audit. And as usual, once again, I really appreciate them being early. They are the first 9/30/24 year audit that we're getting done. So very appreciate them. Being so diligent about getting information to us. So if you have your reports there, you look at page 4. Near the top, you'll see financial highlights. And at the first sentence, total net position increased $3,679,887, which represents a substantial increase from 2023. What's that mean in English? Net position increase, net income. So net income for Williamson County ESD 3 was $3.6 million fiscal year ended September 30, 24. The district expended $888,924 on apparatus and firefighting equipment, $6,220,500 in construction and progress for new fire station, $27,029 in furniture, appliances, and other assets. During fiscal year September 30, 2024, and land was donated from ESD valued at $816,000. The district had $14,454,756 in expenses, with $18,134,643 in revenues to cover the cost of these programs. For surplus revenues, increase your cash balance and unrestricted net position. Turn now to page 6. That's your summary of net position, which is government audit for a balance sheet. So this is the balance sheet for Williamson County ESD 3. We have 2024 and 2023 side by side for these financial variances. Your cash and cash equivalents, $5,928,992. That was down from $7,199,226. We're down about $1,270,234. But as mentioned earlier, you did have net income from well, gee, why cash go down? Just because more cash was put in restricted cash, which is down below. We'll talk about this in a second. Basically, that's cash set aside for the station construction and then also debt service. Your property and sales tax receivable was $873,000, up from about $677,000. So that was up about $196,000. Restricted cash mentioned $18,413,548. From $13,871,561, about $4.5 million increase. Most of that coming from the construction for Station 4, and then also you did add a new bond in 2024, which increased in a government audit. You do have to show that the next year's debt service is restricted. Your capital assets, most of the increase there, of course, coming from the Station 4 construction, $26,428,000, up from $20,231,000, so a $6.2 million increase in your capital assets. Again, as mentioned, most of that the station. So total assets, 51,633,704, up from 41,978, almost a $10 million increase, 9,665. So again, phenomenal growth going on out here in Hutto, and plus very, very good fiscal management by Chief Kerwood and the board. Deferred outflow of resources, 535,000 up from 47. That's the Milliman pension numbers. Doesn't really affect the ESD three directly. That required to be included with your pension information. Current liabilities, most accounts payable in the current portion of all loans, 2,751,000, down from 3,100,000, 349,000 decrease. Your net pension liability, 1,110,000, down from 1,354,000, $244,000 decrease there. Again, that coming from your Milliman pension report. Long-term obligations, as mentioned, there was an $8 million bond added last year. 25,554,756, up from 18,858,840. So net about a $6.7 million increase. Like I said, I think the actual amount of the bond was 8,172,000. So y'all did pay down, debt of about 1.5 after adding the new debt. So total liabilities, 29,416,468, up from the 23,313,000, so a $6,102,812 increase overall. Deferred inflows of resources, that's also a number from the Milliman pension report, 1,340,000, down from 1,410,000. Your net position, or actually net worth, so this is the net worth of Williamson County, ESD3. Your net investment in capital assets is 7,168,937. Big increase from the 4,454,000, 2.7 million increase. Again, most of that due to construction on Station 4. Your restricted funds, again, that's for debt service for the next fiscal year, 3,127,000. That's from 2,086,935, $1 million increase. Again, that's due to the new $8,172,000 bond that was added in 2024. Unrestricted, free and clear, has no obligations, can be spent however the board so chooses. 11,125,000, down 75,000 from 11,200,000. Still very strong fiscal position, very strong network there for Williamson County ESD3. Now let's look at page 7. Your summary of changes in net position for 2024 compared with 2023 activity. Long-winded way of saying profit, loss, or income statement. So this is the income statement for Williamson County ESD3. Again, 2024 and 23 side by side, so we can see the variances. Property taxes, $8,269,045, up from the $7,093,168, almost a $1.2 million increase. And again, that is with no increase in your rate. It's all just property, valuation increases, and all you have to do is drive through here. You know how those just growing and growing. Sales taxes, $8,133,923, up from the $6,082,338. $2 million increase in your sales tax. More evidence of the phenomenal growth going out here. Other revenues were $795,000, up from $361,000, so $433,000 increase there. Donated land, $816,000. No grant revenues received in 2024. Interest income, $120,000, down slightly from $126,000. So your total revenues were $18,134,643, up from the $13,472,000, right at a $4.4 million increase, right at 32%. Which that's really phenomenal growth going out here. Total pension expense, $585,000, down from the $1,043,000. Your general government, or actually your operation expenses, $13,323,717, up from about $10,278,000, so about a $3 million increase, right at 29.6%. Interest on your debt, it did add some new debt, so it's increased a little bit. $545,000 up from $480,000, a $65,000 increase. Total expenses, $14,454,756, up from the $11,801,000, $2.6 million increase. The net position increase for the year, or net income, $3 million, right at $3,680,000. Up from the $1,940,000. So you're up $1,738,953 on the year. That's all the numbers I had for this afternoon. Any comments or questions?
What did the pension expense decrease so much?
Yeah, that's all in the Milliman financial report, and it just kind of varies a lot from year to year, because probably the main reason for the decrease would be since the markets increased so much in 2024. So probably to meet the pension obligations, less expense was required due to the increase in investment income.
We'll also say on the land donation, that's the land for Fire Station 5 that the school district has. Given is not the right word. I don't think they can give for $1, whatever they do.
Based on your agreement with the school district.
Yeah, based on our agreement with the school.
Was that value determined by appraisal or was it?
That value was determined through conversations with the school district, plus Jonah just paid for 1.5 acres up there. And so there was a matter of math.
Okay. Because ours is inset, right? In the property?
Yeah,
Along a roadway?
it's along the roadway, yeah.
Any special thanks to Chief Kerwood for getting that information for the audit.
So I do have a question, following up on that. For accounting purposes, is that good enough to accept the $816,000 as a donated land to show up in a audit?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't need an actual appraisal value of the property? Unless somebody questions it. Okay. All right, thank you.
Anything else?
So where y'all a tax paying entity, then it may be, more of an issue, but being a nonprofit, yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Should have.
I recommend you set the audit and then direct me to file it with Williamson.
Okay. So I need a motion to accept the audit as presented.
A motion to accept the audit as presented?
You're motioning?
Yes, I'm motioning.
Making a motion? Have a motion. Second? Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, passes, and then Chief?
Setting, giving it to the county commission.
Yes. I motion that we give that to the county commissioner.
Part of the motion.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Merry Christmas to you.
Hello.
All right. Oh, yeah. Thank you much. All right, we will go back to the first part of our agenda and presentation. So Chief, back to you.
You have a copy of my report under the fire chief's tab. I don't have anything else to add to it other than we have a guest today to visit with the board. This is Erica with Texas Mutual, which is our workers' compensation group. Erica, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chief. I'm going to stand over here by you. So my name's Erica Corral. I'm the safety service consultant with Texas Mutual Insurance. I come out here. I've been meeting with Chief for about 3 years, I think. I've also met with Rob. I have meetings with them. We go over the safety program. And so this year, Williamson County ESD number 3 is being recognized as a platinum safety partner through Texas Mutual Insurance. This is a very big deal because they only pick 200 of our 78,000 policyholders. In my territory personally, this is the only fire department receiving this award. And this is hugely in part to the commitment that Chief and the team here has to safety and being safe out there. Because not only are you guys out there in the communities, keeping people safe, you're also keeping yourself safe. So I would like to present this to you, Chief, as a platinum safety partner of Texas Mutual Insurance. Congratulations.
Picture moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Three, one, two, three.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well deserved. Congratulations. Okay.
Be one thing if I was on the Santa crawl. It's another thing when I'm in here. Oh, why, thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Okay. Rob, this chief report.
Morning, afternoon. You have my report in your packet. We consistently continue to meet our times. Next month, I'm going to adjust to show you a little bit more in-depth information about the times we're getting out of the station and how that matches up to the national standard. So I'll be working on that, showing you where we stand nationally. Other than that, that is my report for this November.
So Station 4 already has the second most calls.
Yeah, they stole a lot of calls
Yeah.
from Station 2. So you can see that the 4 was online, 2 and 1 were getting a lot of those calls in that area. But obviously with the location of that station, we're reduced times in that area, so we're getting to those incidents.
Probably half of those are to the nursing home.
I was wondering.
Oh, okay.
We were actually asked at the presentation last week. We were wondering, do they walk over there? I guess you still have to drive your truck over, right? Next door. But yeah.
And one other thing, I'd like to introduce Jake Petty right here. He is our newest staff member. He was brought on to fill the last vacancy on our staff. So welcome to have him. And he is in his orientation right now, and he will be out on the streets and on the floor next Monday. So we welcome him.
Yeah.
Glad to have him.
You might already win the mustache award. Welcome. Thanks, Rob.
Rob, can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
What constitutes a false alarm? When it says false alarms, is that just people's things going off?
Yeah, so many of them,
Okay.
as I think about it, alarms will go off when someone is cooking. They're in the house, but they burnt their food. So it triggers the alarm. It notifies the fire alarm company that they contract with, and then they call us. So
Gotcha.
they'll either, verify it through dispatch, or we'll make a scene and just verify it. It is a false alarm, and we constitute that as a false alarm.
Do you actually have to leave the station for it to be counted as a false alarm, or if it gets notified as false before you leave?
Dispatched,
Yeah.
the fire alarm, and it comes through, they cancel us, we constitute it as a
It still
fire
counts.
alarm. Cancel fire.
Okay.
But those are generally, sometimes we'll make scene depending on whether or not contact has been made with the occupants. The dispatch verifies through passwords whether or not it's an accurate, passcode and stuff like that. But if we get a gut feeling that something's wrong, we will continue to go and just verify.
Great. Okay. I know the school district accounts for a few of those
Here and there.
occasionally. All right. Thanks, Rob. Fire marshal report.
All the numbers are contained there in your packet. There's really not a whole lot of new information to pass on. We're holding steady, just over 200 current construction projects. Other than that, I really don't have nothing else to report, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that y'all may have.
Questions? Anybody? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Training report.
Good afternoon. You see, we had 1,056 training hours in our intern department. I don't have anything to report. We already met Rick Petty, our newest firefighter, and giving the orientation. That's all I got.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. How do professional firefighters report?
Nope.
Nothing. Okay. Explorers report.
I'd like to introduce our special guest today, Mr. Ariana, she's a representative of the Boy Scouts of America.
Hi.
I just actually wanted to stop by and kind of bring a certificate of appreciation of achievement because we finally have you guys in the books. After months of paperwork and training and recruitment, Hutto Fire Rescue, let me make sure I get this right, I wrote it down. Williamson County Emergency Services District Number 3 is an official exploring post with the Capital Area Council. So, Rick, I can hand it to you, you can hand it to whoever you want because you were the man behind all the badness. You got it done.
Thank you. Yeah, probably another picture.
Thanks a lot.
We just need
Yeah. For sure.
If I had to do it, you could do it.
Okay, on three, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, moving consent agenda items. Much on there.
Motion to accept the consent agenda items.
Motion to approve consent. Second.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? Nope. All in favor? Aye. And consent passes. All right, back to our regular agenda items. There already did number 1. Number 2, discuss, consider, take action on construction of fire headquarters complex.
Well, I'm going to turn this over to Keith in a minute. I will let you know that we still have some challenges with the city of Hutto on permits. But they're working with us. That's the thing. We've reached out to Keith has submitted stuff time and time again. They have a new program called Scuttle. So that is some challenges, and I think Eric said other agencies have those same challenges too, right? They've started all the site work out there, which is really interesting to see. There's a meeting this afternoon with Spectrum because there's an above ground line that goes through there. We had some trouble identifying who it belonged to. I said, knock it off, and whoever yelled,
Yeah.
they're
The building pad is going in right now. They're gonna start doing the underground plumbing under the slabs next week. They're working on that. The building permit, we have a permit for the fire headquarters now, and we also have a permit for the site. The biggest hangup is the warehouse. One of the hangups for the warehouse is they want me to have shop drawings for the warehouse building for the, what we call a PDM engineered metal building, a PDMB. Well, we don't normally get those until about 6 or 7 weeks after we approve the contract with the contractor and he gets his contract with that guy and then they do their shop drawings. It's very unusual. I've tried to explain to them that we're a public entity and we're forced to bid anything over $50,000. And when you bid metal buildings, every metal building is specific to that metal building. We give them design parameters in our specifications. We have it, but every metal building is going to have different shop drawings, no matter who it is. It could be Butler, Red Dot, or whoever it is. So I'm trying to explain to them, I'm not going to get those for a while. Don't hold up my permit so I can get started, so I can get all that stuff to you. So I'm in the middle of that. I'm on release or reply number 4, and I've given all that back. And it's an interesting system. I work through with their people that actually run the system. They're helpful, but they still have lots of flaws in the program. I mean, I submit stuff and I go, well, we didn't get it. And I said, well, it's submitted there right down in your program. I don't understand why you don't get it. But we're working through it. They should have everything right now. And probably about 3 or 4 days ago, they gave me their 5-day notice. So I hope you'll hear something first part of next week on that permit. But they have permitted the headquarters building itself. So that's kind of where I am right now, hopefully next week. It hasn't necessarily slowed us down yet, because we're working on the site, we're getting all the building pads done and that sort of thing. So that's working. The utilities and all that stuff that Lakshay did for it have been approved. So it's not, it hasn't impacted us, but it will if they continue to do that, because I can't go vertical.
Right.
Not sure they'll even let me pour a slab for the warehouse, and we want to do them both at the same time, because we have remobilization charges that will be charged, so things will start backing up. But I want to work as hard as I can to make sure that doesn't happen.
How, if it doesn't get resolved, how long do you have before it does start slowing you down?
Oh, I'd say probably in about maybe January 1st, because of the Christmas holidays, because that kind of shuts it all down between Christmas and New Year. So I'd say probably going to be the first of the year.
Good.
But I'm hoping to get it all resolved before then, long before then. That's my goal right now.
Well, this week or next week, I guess, is about
Now,
it.
that's it.
Yeah.
But I've done everything they've asked, so it's just going to be a question of what's next.
Yeah.
So do they have engineered drawings? Do you have them from the contractor on the metal building?
I don't have the shop drawings yet. He told me I will not have those till mid-January.
So how can you get permit without these drawings?
Well, that's something I don't know, because this is the only municipality I've ever dealt with that requires shop drawings in the building permit. When we did Station 2, which is in the city limits of Hutto, it has a pre-engineered metal building apparatus bay. That wasn't even a requirement at the time. So it's something that's happened between then and now. And I don't understand how they can do that.
Did you, as part of your services, design or have your structural engineer design the foundation?
Yes.
Are they willing to review that part of the project so you get that done?
I will find, that will be my next step. I want to get the whole permit. I don't want to.
Cut that out and ask them just to approve the slabs.
They said they don't do partial permits. They have told me that. They do not, they won't let you do separate items like that. I've asked that as well. So let's just get forward and we'll get this to you in a couple, maybe mid-January, but they don't do that.
Would it be something, Chief, that you talk to the city manager and see if they can provide an exception?
I've talked to the city manager on a couple items before. He refers me back to engineering. We did that on, speeding up the building permit. We had run into a roadblock. Finally, he was able to get a meeting set up. So, yeah, if we continue to run into the roadblocks, we can make that phone call.
So from the time you turn around those submittals, do you have a certain amount of time frame that you're allowable under contract for the GC to turn around reviews?
Yes, sir.
Submittals? What's
Yes.
that? How many days? Bless you.
Well, the submittals themselves, we don't necessarily have a time frame, but we like to get them after the job has been let and awarded by you guys. We'll probably get, I'd say 75% of those probably in the first 2 months.
Okay, but you haven't got the submittals for the metal building.
He hasn't even signed the contract for his metal building yet, correct? He's still negotiating with them.
Okay.
So and that's the contractor, until he gets that negotiated and signs them up, then that's when their process will start for the shop drawings.
You see what I'm getting at?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Use every means possible to put the contractor in a corner where they can't increase the schedule and or amount,
we
get a change order, do delays in our part, and then try to go short circuit the city and see if they'll allow an exception to at least allow us to pour that foundation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I would remind the board that we meet every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock with our whole construction group. It's open if you want to come and sit in just to hear some of the stuff that's going on. We do have the GC there. They give us an update. If you remember, we had a schedule here after in Fire Station 4 on the time frame. They're developing that for this headquarters complex. So we'll get that up, but please, if you've got the opportunity and time, come to those meetings.
Where do y'all meet?
At admin.
Okay.
When are they supposed to put the, when is they supposed to do the concrete pour for the foundation?
I'd say we're probably in mid-January.
Okay, so
Maybe a little later than that, because right now, next Wednesday, we're gonna start digging trenches for the plumbing under the slabs.
Okay.
And they're gonna dig them under the slabs for the warehouse as well, because the building pad's there, so they're gonna do all that. You can go to the first inspection, and typically we can't cover up the plumbing pipes under the slab before they're inspected by the city. I'm anticipating that probably the first of the year because of Christmas.
Thank you.
Anything you want to add?
Good.
Yeah, it's like everybody's behind me.
It's not your responsibility. talk to some of their higher ups. They find out what's going on with that corner track. So in terms of pre-planning for anything, Chief, I invite you as well, right? Because in the future, it sure would be nice to have a driveway into our administrative building from,
And we've already designed that driveway. We're just waiting for someone to pay for the widening of the road and do all the additional work that's gonna be required for that. But we have it designed, actually designed it.
I will remind the board that TxDOT though won't allow us to do that. We have to put in a deceleration lane. And it was calculated how much, Lakshay?
It was about $1 million.
Yeah, and that's TxDOT requirement.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, keep in mind what's going on across the street if you get a chance.
Yeah, we're trying to follow that with Eric.
Because maybe we can, piggyback.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And
And Eric's
eventually-
doing that for us.
Yeah. So if we could, if they're gonna improve that roadway and they're gonna pay for it, we could kick in some money, $200,000-300,000 and get our lane that we need for access way into because I think you're gonna find that to be a pain in the rear on a continual basis, having to go through that little service station to get to this place, particularly if you guys are driving that big ladder truck or anything else. When you're going to meetings, if you do drive it up there, that's gonna be a pain in the butt.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah, so we need to be thinking about that.
There's always a possibility if the board wants to entertain it, we can get with TxDOT. We can say, okay, we have design plans. How much is this going to cost us to get it installed? That's within your purview as the board to do that or direct us to do that.
I think that's always an option, Chief, and updating to see if we can get a better figure than that $1 million that Lakshay just mentioned, because I'm sure that's a very high figure from you for measuring that. But particularly, there's a lot of motivation because I understand they spend a lot of money on that track.
Yeah, they want to move it forward.
Yeah, so maybe, their schedule will be quicker. I'm just saying in the next year or two. And we'll have this thing built sometime next year, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's not a hurry for us, but it certainly will be an inconvenience in terms of people getting in and out of that administrative building.
We can get some numbers and bring it back to the board.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
All right. Item 3, discuss, consider, take appropriate action on purchase replacement of portable and mobile radio equipment approved in the 24-25 budget.
I'm going to ask the board to table this until January.
Okay.
We're still working on some information from Motorola Plus. This was an approved item, so I've got to get with our Hilltop Securities on the financing for this. So
Okay.
the goal is to have this ready for January.
Okay. We will move that to January. And final item number 4, discuss, consider, take action on report from Carlton Law Firm on 89th legislative session items.
Happened to be up in the area for some meetings.
It's like, you're here.
Excuse us.
And so I was like, well, I just.
There you go.
Have a meeting in person. I feel like I should be sitting over there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Your face up on near that screen.
There's been plenty of news coverage on things, but we still don't have a speaker in the Texas House. We have a couple folks claiming they are going to be speaker. We don't know how that's going to work out. That determination and ultimate resolution will impact who's able to really meaningfully pass legislation this next session, because the people on the losing side will not. And the people on the winning side will. So there's a kind of anxiously awaiting that. Don't really expect to see that resolved until we get to mid-January when session begins. Safety has put out its legislative program. You all should have received an email about a survey on elected ESD commissioners. Would encourage you to respond to that from safety, trying to get a feel for how all the commissioners across the state feel about that. And then we're just kind of monitoring legislation that's getting filed. Larry Gonzalez advised me that it looks like the district that surrounds Round Rock and its ETJ is going to try and go for a sales tax election perhaps in May. So you'll be seeing that happening over on your western side. And I think those are all the major issues right now. I've currently got about 50 bills that we're kind of tracking, but right now I think there have been over 4,000 bills filed. I'm going to guess out of those bills, maybe 0.5% of the ones that are filed actually end up passing. There's a ton of stuff that's been filed. So we'll see as we get going, but we're still digging through that stuff and get your, as the filings kind of slow down, we'll get you some reports about what's out there and kind of what we're looking at. So
one of the things I've shared with John before, we have a friend named Representative Caroline Harris Davos, and her chief of staff. As you know, you want anything, you go to the chief of staff to get it done. And so we met with her this morning at Power Breakfast. And probably 4 or 5 months ago, they came up and we met with them at administration, specifically on items that deal with safety. So she wants to meet again, and we're going to set that up, but we know her time based upon when session starts.
Okay. Any questions for John?
Yeah, and I would encourage continue to build those relationships with her and Senator Schwertner to the extent you can, and mostly his staff.
Yeah.
Because we don't, until we see how the speaker's race comes out, we don't know necessarily which members are going to be well positioned. But it never hurts to have a really solid relationship with your representative or your senator.
Both the representative and the senator were invited to be speakers last Friday. They had other commitments and was not able to do that.
Okay.
Can I add one thing
Of course.
that I forgot to mention in my report? Want to thank the board, thank the firefighters, thank the community for the turnout last Friday at the uncoupling for Station 4. Our original estimate was there was going to be 50 people there, and we had over 120. So very good. I think that sends messages to who Ann was to this community. Her family was very pleased. They are very pleased. So I think the board did the right thing.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was a nice ceremony, and that plaque of her at the station is really nice, and Jerry seemed very moved. So
And if you walk into the lobby, her certificate, they made 2 of them. Her certificate for Certified Emergency Services Commissioner is hanging on the wall under her picture.
that's great. Yeah, thank you. It was great, and I loved seeing all the news coverage of it too.
Yeah, it was very good. The Chamber put together a Facebook post. The city of Hutto put together a Facebook post. I'm sure we're going to link those in ours, right, Caleb? So that way, we had also, what's Bobby's?
Best kids.
Yeah, what's his business? Apollo Photography.
Yeah, the drone.
They came out and Bobby shot a lot of pictures during that presentation. So we think it got a lot of good coverage.
Yeah.
And speaking of photos, I had sent everyone on the board an email about shirts. And we want to have your shirts to you before February safety conference.
Okay.
So that way you can wear them to go over there for those that are going. So please make sure you get that information into Mary Ann.
Yep. I know I have, and Henry has. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Way to go, Steve.
And you were, I said before you got here, Henry Gideon. I don't know if have you ever met Henry?
Mhm.
He used to be our,
I have.
okay. Henry is going to be our new commissioner
Oh,
to
fantastic.
replace Butch.
Yeah. Good
So,
news.
yeah, great guy. Yeah, very smart guy. So, all right. The only other thing that I would say is you guys, for those of you that have to work over Christmas holidays, thank you. I know that's part of what you do, but thank you for sacrificing your family time and other time to be protecting the community, especially on Christmas Day. So thank y'all. Appreciate all that you guys do. So have a great Christmas, and we'll do this again in 2025. All right. And at 12:40, we will adjourn.